सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम. Okay. So Vedas have three different sections in them. All Vedas have it. The first part is called mantra, then it's called brahmanas, and then last part is called aranyakas. So mantra portion is, what they're doing in Vedas is praising these natural forces and beauty. Means just to break our identification with ourselves, we're bringing, hey, look at the world, And then in Brahmana section, they have Karma Kand and Upasana Kand. So what is Karma Kand is how to invoke these mighty powers in such a way that they work for me. Okay, I may have some desires also, which is fine. That our Vedas don't say that don't fulfill your desire, but do it in the correct way with the dharma, and it gives you anything and everything you want, you can get it. So all that thing is their Karma Kanda. And then Upasana Kand is there, is that Upasana is a little more subtle thing. It requires a little more subtlety, and Upasana can be described as I take a stone and I invoke, God in it. So I'm taking something gross, or gross meaning not the word they use in America, gross. Huh? It's not gross, means more solid stuff. Gross and subtle wala. So I'm taking some stone and I'm saying, I want to invoke Shiva in it. So I look at it like a shivling, and then I do puja. Usse my mind lifts up.
Like we do with the murtis.
Everything, yeah, all the exactly. The murti is just, we look at Krishna in that murti,
So Upasana ka arth hua worship actually.
Yes, but I'm getting nearer to God by doing this. And the totally worldly thing I can give you is that some near and dear is not with me, then I keep his picture, and then I look at it. Hey, it's not the real person, but it reminds me of that. So that's how you have to look at it. So it's a little more subtle.
So my niece, her name is Upasana. We told her Upasana means puja karna.
Puja karna.
So she researched it and she said, no, Upasana means that I am at a higher level than most humans to God.
That's it. She was right.
She researched that and
yes. So now you know what is the connotation behind it.
So she tells all her cousins that she's at a higher level, so she's right.
So see, when you do puja, somebody can do pseudo puja. मन में भाव ही नहीं है, I have to do this ritual, I have to do 108 times name, ध्यान कहीं और लगा हुआ है, then it's not upasana. And somebody can be just sitting and doing upasana because they're connecting to the higher. So upasana can have many different forms and ways, but if you understand why we are doing it, then not everybody connects to everything. Somebody likes upasana in the form of murti puja. Another one says, no, I want to look at a mountain and I want to think of God. What I'm saying? So upasana can have different things, but all different methods of upasanas are given.
आपने पहला वाला क्या बोला था?
इसको बोलते हैं mantra section. Mantra and Brahmana section has a karma kand and upasana in it. So there are two subsections. And if you
Mantra is to show the beauty.
Yeah, lifting your mind away from your own self and seeing, grandiousness of this whole cosmos.
So mantra section and?
Mantra, Brahmana and Aranyaka. So I just explained what is mantra. Then Brahmana is, you call it Brahmana, but it's not the Brahman they're talking about. No? And not Brahman they're talking about. That's the section. And then the last part is Aranyaka. Aranya means jungle or going in the forest. So after all this is over, there are some students who are want to do deeper meditation. They have some questions. They have understood everything theoretically, but they don't have that final experience yet. So they go in some quiet place, in those days Himalayan valleys, and then they go, the guru and the shishya go, usually guru waहीं पर होता है, jungle में. and then the Shishya is going, and then there is a samvad between them. That is Upanishad. So Upanishad is somebody, this deep quest in me that I want that experience.
Inner conversation.
No, Upanishad is an outer conversation between the guru and the student.
Okay.
So the guru is one who is a realized master.
Hanji.
He has become one with the Brahman. Student is got all the theories, but he's not there yet. And he's going there, hey, can you please remove some of more my doubts, and how do I get this? And that conversation, that is Upanishad. So it's a part of the Aranyaka part, more even subtler than Upasana, right? So that's what we are going to be studying.
So would the debate of Shankaracharya ji and Mandal Mishra be considered that?
Not really, because it can be, but ये जो specific Upanishad बन गया है ना, they said about 200 something they have discovered. 108 are like really authentic. They have, these are Upanishad. उसमें से 11 जो है वो Shankaracharya ji commented upon. And I had, all that is there. So this is one of them. So these are called Upanishad. What you are talking about it is debate. Technically they are not called Upanishads, but in some ways they can be, if it is organized in a proper way and all that. Some people believe that even now Upanishads are being created. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah. Exactly. Like this happened 5,000 years ago. Our Bhagavad Gita is considered one of the Upanishads. Even though technically it's not, but the reason it's considered because the Sar of Upanishad. So usko bhi ek Upanishad hi mana gaya hai, So you can. These things are like just broadly described and accepted, but it's a flow also, That's why they say that a self-realized person, if he's I think there was a conversation where somebody said, this is not in the Shastras, किसी self realized को ऐसा बोला किसी बंदे ने, तो उन्होंने कहा कि if it is not in the Shastras, then either it is wrong or something like what I'm saying is a Shastra. Because what is Shastra is nothing but God's voice, right? If somebody totally pure person says, that becomes a Shastra. You see what I'm saying? Why do we consider Bhagavad Gita so holy? Because it's a, Bhagavad Gita, it's a song of the Lord. Because Krishna Bhagwan at that time was completely in tune with that Brahman. And there is a story that Joe loves to tell that later on Arjun ने बोला एक दिन बाद में, जब हो गया युद्ध, मेरे को वापस गीता सुनाओ. तो कृष्ण ने बोला सॉरी, अब मैं नहीं सुना सकता. वो टाइम पे जो मेरी कंप्लीट था ना, वो इस वक्त नहीं है. It's something like, somebody has some kind of divine thing and some discovery happens through them. Huh?
Like Siddhi.
Yeah, Siddhi or even sometimes Bharat will say, oh, I don't even know how I wrote this. Because that time that inspiration came from the higher self. Like poets ke saath aisa hota hai. Poetry just flows and later on you say, how did that happen? No, it's coming from the higher. Yeah. So in the world also we experience that. Like the big discovery, the guy doesn't discover 100 things. One that happens with him. Because all the conditions were just right. So that's why, whatever these great purified souls say, that becomes a Shastra. And then there is another story that I don't know if you've heard of it, that there was one guy, saint, who had a little doubt about one little word of Bhagavad Gita. You heard that story? Yeah. I don't remember the name of the saint, but it seems that उसने change कर दिया, right? And then he went away somewhere, and then his wife was going somewhere, and a very beautiful little boy came, and उसको देखते ही उसके मन में इतना प्यार जागा वगैरह वगैरह, पर उस boy के ना face पे जैसे किसी ने थप्पड़ मारा हो ऐसे था, there was marks on his face. So, who hit you? He's saying your husband did. So she got very mad. She went to the husband. Why did you hit that little fellow? He was so beautiful, and she was describing him. Then he realized that he had changed a little word. It was as though you have slapped Krishna Bhagwan. That was the whole story. And that's why it's written in this form that nobody can change it. It's tight. That's why you can sing it. You can't change even one matra here to there. It's word of God. That's how it is, They're so clever, because if it is some sentence just like that, people can change. Here, Bhagavad Gita, you cannot change anything, So those are the important things. So now what is Taittriya Upanishad? It belongs to Yajurveda, firstly. And it is part of this Aranyaka. वो अरण्यका का नाम ही तैत्तिरीय अरण्यका है. जो यजुर्वेदा में एक अरण्यका है, मीन्स द थर्ड सेक्शन जो मैंने बताया, उसका नाम है तैत्तिरीय अरण्यका. And then where this word came from? It's called Taittri bird. And I think it's called sparrows. Sparrows are the chi karke, we know the sparrows. वो वाली bird, huh? No, it's those little birds which are very agile and they are.
Hummingbirds?
No. I think sparrow. Taittiriya bird. So, this is where the word came, but Taittiriya, we'll see why. Okay? And then just wanted to tell the significance of this Upanishad, that this Upanishad is so important that the शंकराचार्य जी ने जो कमेंट्री दी थी ना 10 उपनिषद पे, सबसे पहली उन्होंने इस पे दी थी, तैत्तिरीय पे दी थी. That's number 1. And number 2, Brahma Sutra. Oh, I forgot to bring. No, Joe is not here. He had asked me to bring his book back. Brahma Sutra में उन्होंने 147 times he referred to Taittriya Upanishad. So how important it is. So that we need to know that, because we are studying, so we should get excited about it. And what are the unique features of this Upanishad? Everybody's heard of the 5 sheets, right? That Annamay Kosh, Pranamay, and Manomay, Anandmay. नहीं, Manomay के बाद क्या आता है? Vijnanamay and Anandmay. ये koshas इसमें से आया है. They mentioned all the koshas, okay? So this is one very important thing that everybody talks about in yogic thing. And then the another important thing about it has a direct description of Brahman. And then Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. That's a declaration. The people quote a lot about that. Truth, Satyam, Jnanam is knowledge, Anantam, infinite. That definition has come from Taittriya Upanishad. And then another very important thing is there is a convocation message in here. When somebody graduates, okay, now you got the degree. Now you got to go back in the world. What you should remember. Like here we have speeches of, so many. They always bring somebody very wise to give the students. There's a convocation message in that. So those are the important things. Now, how did the word Taittiriya come? The story might sound very gross, not very appealing, but there's a very deeper meaning behind it. So don't get grossed out by the story. You might get grossed out, but I have to tell anyway. So it seems that there was a student called Yagnavalka. उसका नाम था याज्ञवल्क. और उनके जो गुरु थे ना, उनका नाम था वैशंपायन. So there are one story is just superficial story, and there is another deep story for the deeper. So I'll tell for the superficial, then we'll discuss the deeper meaning. Superficial story ये है कि one time the teacher got annoyed with the student, and said, whatever I have taught you, give me back. Okay? So it seems he vomited it out. Means he vomited it out. But it was so good, like if I teach something and they say, okay, repeat it now. That person repeats, but it's such a beautiful rendition with his own, some masala in it. And so he vomited it out, and now it was so good that the teacher said, oh, I can't let this vomit go waste. So he's telling his students, but then you can't eat as a human. So they had to take the form of a bird, Taittiriya bird. So they could eat that. So Yagnavalka was so great कि जब उसने वापस बोला तो वो और भी निखर के आ गया. So deeper meaning ये है. But another version, deeper meaning, you can say that actually the teacher was annoyed with all the other students because they were little less in their mind. So he said, इनको कैसे समझाऊं मैं मेरे बस का नहीं है. So you take the best student that you got and you tell him, okay, teach them now. Repeat it what I told you. यहाँ भी ऐसा होता है ना, कोई अच्छे स्टूडेंट होते हैं जाके ट्यूटर करते हैं दूसरों को. That's what this story is about. That Yagnavalkya was such a great student that he absorbed everything, and when he repeated, whatever he said was so palatable. किसी professor की बात समझ में नहीं आती है, right? Then you contact your friend, some who is very intelligent. Can you explain to me what the professor said? And then he says it, and now you understood. So that's the whole idea. So don't get grossed out by the story. And then why they took the form of Taittriya bird? Because Taittriya bird, it seems, out of all the bird species, are the most energetic, and Swamiji used the word industrious. And what it means is hardworking and diligent. So because they wanted them to grasp everything. That's why, skillful and all that. That's what the whole story is.
So that is why they have birds on the cover?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You got it. Because Taittriya.
That's right.
Yeah. That's a very good point. मेरे में नहीं है शायद. ये पुराना वर्जन है.
आपके उड़ गए.
हाँ?
आपके उड़ गए.
मेरे.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, coming back to the Upanishad, what is in the Upanishad, so we can look forward to it. So it's divided into 3 sections. So first one is called Shikshavalli. And Shikshavalli में क्या है? Instructions है. How to pronounce things. They're just giving one shloka to say that pronunciation is very important to learn. And we know, sometimes say Westerners try to speak Hindi. And it can make a complete kachumbar out of it, right? Like we have a friend, his name is Jawar. And when Americans say it, they call him Janwar. Because they read it. These are true stories, So, and there are so many answers. Pronunciation, otherwise you will get the wrong import.
Yes.
We had a student in our school, her name was Kamini,
Mm-hmm.
and our Irish nuns used to call her Kamini.
Kamini. Even Bharat का नाम, they will say Barat. I said Barat तो दूसरी होती है, उनकी तो बारात निकल चुकी है. Brat भी बना दिया किसी ने. So it is telling you that pronouncing it, learning it, is very, very important. So all that is there. And then some parts of upasanas are mentioned, some methods of upasana. And I already said that you put your mind to a higher level. So it has giving you, it's first when you read, say, what are they saying? But when the saints and sages explain to us, then we'll understand what they're saying. So that upasana part is there in the Shikshavalli. Okay, and then what else is there in Shikshavalli? I think that is part of Shikshavalli too. The convocation that I was talking about. That when the student is finished the studies, and now it's telling him to, okay, before you go to the world, remember these things. Like a parent is telling a child when they go to college, I know you're smart, but you must remember this, Satyam, Vada, Brahmachara and all that. We will come to that. So it's giving them all the instructions. Basically, whatever you have learned, how to practically apply it and all that, instructions. So that was Shikshavalli. And then Brahmanandavalli, the second part, directly the truth is explained. Start ही Brahmanand वाले होता है सत्यम ज्ञानम अनंतम ब्रह्म, telling you the nature of that highest one. So straight from Shikshavalli it came over there, and there is a scientific analysis in the Brahmanandavalli of the sheets that I was talking about, that koshas, how that Brahman is covered by the different layers. That's another reason why we don't see it, because it's like you have 1 layer, 2 layer, 5 layer, so that's what it is. And the third part is called Bhruguvalli. And again in Bhruguvalli, it's a practical application of all the philosophical theories that we have learned, the first two vallis, whatever they said, the emphasis is that you have to constantly do the inquiry, you have to continue to meditate, and you have to, how to gather this, and the way it goes is that there is a conversation between two people, and father and son. Father is a guru also in this, and the son is like, I want to learn this, who Brahman is and all that. So then he tells her, you have to meditate. Go and meditate, and then the whole story is there. So we don't need to get into it right now. Practically how we can also connect to that higher. That's what the last part. So that's what is coming in this. And few more interesting things about this. This Upanishad has a exhaustive picture of training that was given in the education system in those days. Okay, so why this is important? Because for the development, growth, and sustenance of this Vedic culture. So that whole thing is here in the Shikshavalli, and also how to live a Vedantic life. So there are two things that happen, valedictorian address and the convocation message. So this is like a combination of it in this. So how it was already done. Koi bolega, oh, this is a new concept. No. Go to Taittriya Upanishad. It's there. And then Hari Om. Come on, join. So another very important to remember about this Upanishad is that in all the Upanishads. Oh, okay, you wanted the book. Yes, the book. Sorry about that, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Feel better soon.
Yes, hope to see you next month. Yeah, get better. Yeah. Hari Om, everyone. Okay, so what I was going to say is that subjective science, that goes for every Upanishad that we have to say. Don't go by just the literal meaning in Upanishad. Always, what is the suggestion behind it? Because if you see the literal meaning, you will always make a mess. And you will get everything wrong. So that's why Upanishad is always with, some instructions, some other people's commentary who are much purer, and you need a teacher, otherwise it won't get into your head. If you just read it, it'll just come out. And then it is in Sanskrit language, and we don't think about it. Why it's called the Sanskrit? Sanskriti se banaya, Sanskrit language. Because the language is so purified that it has a lot more chances of giving the right import. That's why certain words, nobody can translate it in English. Like Shraddha. It's not faith, because it's not a blind faith by any means. Or Dharma. Somebody can give a whole lecture on the word Dharma. So this language has an inbuilt thing for giving the message correctly. That's why, we go through the word by word meaning at least to get whatever we want. So that's another important thing. And then another very important thing with Upanishad is that the teacher and the student have to be tuned to each other and have the rapport. If what is trying to say and what I should get, and if there is a gadbad in the report, it's not going to go well. Okay, so what Swamiji said, that the word meaning of the scriptures are only half truths, and it could be dangerous. And I have seen people quote, they will take one chopai of Ramayana, and then they will say, "Arey, Ram ji ne to aisa kar diya, waisa bol diya, ye kar diya," and then they will forget about all the 99.9% things. Those are the dangers that if you just go by that, So then what does this Upanishad do? That I have to raise myself. I have attuned to my teacher. So that's where the Upasana is advised, to do the Upasana for self-integration. Self-integration means my mind has to be integrated, And then, let's see. And what all we need intellectual sharpness, mental tranquility to understand the scriptures correctly. So that's why, for that purpose, for mental tranquility and the intellectual sharpness, it always starts with a very unique peace invocation. So हर एक उपनिषद का अलग अलग है, और एक्चुअली ये सहना ववतु जो है ना, वो भी It was in Kathopanishad se aaya hai, and few other Upanishads have the same mantras also. This one has a very unique one that we will be doing, and you may have heard this chant from before. So this peace invocation is chanted by who? The teacher and the student together. Teacher ke liye bhi hai. The teacher bhi is, can make mistakes. So prayer to the cosmic powers we are saying that, hey, ward off all the obstacles, because we are taking up these studies, and just we should be very nice, fruitful study. Uske liye log karte hain ऐसे, huh? So what Swamiji was saying, that when we do this invocation, it's not like a beggary to Bhagwan or something, or doing a contract with him. Oh, you give me this and I'll give you this, mera ye kaam kar do, then main ye chadhaungi. Nothing like that. It is just, in humility, we are just saying to all these phenomenal forces that align properly so that I study, something like that you can say. Because it teaches us surrender, and then it's saying prayer itself are so powerful here. If somebody truly start doing this, usse bhi you can connect to the higher. They are so powerful and great, So just a little bit of this. So what is in the prayer, just to give an idea, so that when we do it, then we will know that in these prayers, firstly, that it is done by both teacher and student together, and it recognizes all these Vedic gods, they call it, because in those days, in early part of this Vedas and all that, they didn't have all the other deities like Rama, Krishna and all that. That came much, much later. Okay, so they are talking about this power, cosmic power, Brahman, and it has a different manifestation. Now that we learned in Kathopanishad, that how it trickles down in a different manifestation. So they have used things like Mitraha, Varunaha, Ayarma, and we will see what it means. So there are 3-4 words used in the beginning. Mitra is a part of Brahman when it trickles down, which is in charge of. Just like you have like the president in the government, then you have the senators, and then you have other things. And power to upar se aa raha hai, and actual power democracy se aa raha hai. So that's how you have to look at it. So this Mitra, it was a word used, which is a guardian of what? Pranas. What all the pranas that we have, uska jo in charge hai na, usko Mitra bola hai, the naam. And then also the deity for the daytime. Now, so what do you mean by that? It's like as though somebody is in charge of the functions of the day. Day में कुछ हम लोग different करते हैं, रात को अलग होता है. So day में क्या होता है कि we all the energies and activities are expressed to the max. जिसका भी जो talent होता है वो सब दिन में सब चलता है ना. So this Mitra, when we say Om Shanno Mitra, means I am saying that appealing to that person who's in charge of my pranas and the daytime to make it conducive for me.
So the daytime is your Rajas time, right?
You can call it Rajas time. Yes, yeah, true. Yeah.
Is that why we say Mitraya Namaha?
Mitrai ko Suraj ko bhi Mitrai bola. Yes.
In the daytime.
Yes, there you go. There you go. So all these connections are there. You will start connecting all these things. And then there is the next one is Varunaha. Oh, before we do that, maybe we should do the chanting over here. Yes, let's do that. So what I'm going to do is I'll say it and then you repeat it. So whoever has a book, mine is page 9. I'm not sure. There's a peace invocation, Shanti Path. I think all the books are gone, so I don't have any to look at. A page number कोई बता मिल गया आपको? 11. अच्छा 11. हाँ.
Peace invocation, page 11.
Okay.
मेरे काफी सारे पेज जुड़े हुए हैं.
Oh really?
Wait.
Okay.
I won't open it and go home and clear it.
Yeah, if you have an issue, then give it, and I will give you another one.
No,
Yeah.
that's fine. घर में जाके खोल लूँगी.
Okay.
पर काफी सारे जुड़े हुए हैं तो उनको
काटना पड़ेगा.
हाँ चाकू से, because ऐसे मैंने खोला है तो it looks dirty.
Okay. So here is the Shanti part. Om Shanno Mitrah Shamvarunaha. Om Shanno Mitrah Shamvarunaha. Shanno bhavatvayarma. Shanna indro bruhaspatihi. Shanno Vishnu rurukramaha. Namo Brahmane. Namaste Vayo. Tvameva pratyaksham brahmasi. Tvameva pratyaksham brahma vadishyami. Rutam vadishyami. Satyam vadishyami. Tanma bhavatu. Tad vaktaram avatu. Avatu mam. Avatu vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So this is the peace invocation. So now I already explained to you what Mitra is. Let's do the, in the next, when chapter 1, Shikshavalli, Anuvak 1, there is again it's repeated in mine. Look, is it or not?
Oh, that's the one I was looking
Okay, fine. Maybe because here I don't know why they repeated it twice. So maybe they fixed it. So first of all, it says Anuvak 1, right? In yours.
Yes.
So what is the Anuvak meaning? It's reciting something. That's the meaning of it, because it's not Anuvad, it's Anuvak. So that has a different meaning. So here the Sanskrit words. You want to do it, Pratibhaji? You have it? You can borrow Bharat's book. That Om is Om.
Shama, propitious, Nama to us, Mitraha, controller of the and prana, Shama, propitious, Varuna, controller of the night and apana, Shama, propitious, Nama to us, Bhavatu, maybe, Aryama, controller of eyes and sun's orbit, Shama, propitious, Naha to us, Indraha, controller of strength and arms, Brahaspati, controller of speech and intellect, Shama, propitious, Naha to us, Vishnu, controller of feet, Urukramaha, the all-pervading, wide-striding, Namaha, salutation, Brahmane, unto Brahman, Namaha, salutation, Te, unto thee, Vayo, O Vayu, Tvama, thou, Tvama, thee, Eva, alone, Pratyakshama, perceivable, Brahma, Brahman, Vadishyami, I shall declare, Ritam, the right, controller of right, Vadishyami, I shall declare, Satyam, the good, controller of the good, Vadishyami, I shall declare, Tata, that, Brahman, Mama, me, Avatu, may protect, Tata, that, Brahman, Vaktaram, the speaker, Avatu, may protect, Mama, me, Avatu, may protect, Vaktaram, the speaker.
Too many words are there. So, most important ones. The Mitra, I already said that what Mitra represents is that that deity in charge of pranas and the daytime. Varuna is in charge of apana, outgoing breath. That's equally important. Ki khali andar bharli hawa aur bahar nahi nikali. Again, problem, right? So that a balance has to be there, apana. So Varuna or Varuna is in charge of the outgoing breath and the night. Okay? And then there is one word called Ayarma. This word comes in Bhagavad Gita also. Ayarma is a deity for sun and the eyes. Power of sun and eye together. Because we have already discussed that for us to see without the light, you cannot see. Even if telescope, anything, any kind of seeing is in the dark, nothing can be seen. So there is God's power is there in the eyes and in the sun, both. That's how also you can look at it. The sun is a source of energy and light, and so those are the things. So that is Ayarma. And then Indra, when we say, तो वैसे तो हम सोचते हैं Indra means that one क्या बोलते हैं देवताओं का राजा. True, that's true. But इधर क्या है उसका connotation है, he is the one of might and strength. उसको राजा इसीलिए बनाया ना क्योंकि वो strong और मतलब he can rule. Okay, so you take that as a deity for in charge of our hands. Why? Because a human's might and power is kind of expressed through the hands. Bahubali, ऐसे बोलते हैं Bahubali, that movie is there. So it's all connected. So that Indra को उन्होंने in charge बना दिया to give power in the hand. Okay. And then Bruhaspati. Bruhaspati वैसे तो बोलते हैं कि वो देवताओं के गुरु होते थे. So obviously he is like a divine expression in charge of the intelligence and the speech and knowledge in us. So we have to pray to Bruhaspati if we want intelligence, knowledge, and speech. And then Vishnu is in charge of our legs. So कोई बोलेगा Vishnu को leg, but there is a science behind it. Because Vishnu is long striding, we can reach everywhere. Vishnu means the big, he's in charge of everything. So our legs are the one which take us, everywhere. So that's why. So there's a science behind why they said this. So they are invoking all these powers of, that's why they said it, all these things, this. And then, so what are we? So we are invoking the blessings of Mitra, Varuna, Ayarma, Indra, Bruhaspati, and Vishnu's, not so that I'll get a lot of wealth. That's not the purpose. I'm invoking, so everything is in balance with me when I'm taking up these studies to go higher. My pran, apan, good eyesight, strong willing hands, good speech, good healthy legs. With this energy and strength, I want to fulfill this study so that I can become divine. So that's the purpose of this prayer. And the word sham, it's got, when we say it becomes shanno, but actually the word is sham. Shwa ke upar bindi. What does that mean? Because shanno, mitra, sham, varuna, sham, bhavatarma and all that, shanno, indra, it means well-being and auspicious, favorable conditions. So we are invoking कि भाई सब कुछ सही कर दो ताकि मैं ये कर सकूं. That's what we are invoking, these powers. So what Swamiji is saying that all my instruments, these are all my instruments, my legs, my mind and this and that, all are my instruments, that they become profitable listening, and so that I get the correct import also. That's also very important. That's why we said pray to Bruhaspati for my intelligence and mind and all that. So I stay in full vigor of health in body and mind both. Okay, because here he was just reminding that how Vedanta gives importance to the physical health also. It's not say कि खाली meditation ही करते रहो. No, your physical health has to be very good, because if you are very if you have a headache or anything, you won't be able to study. Start with the physical and mental both health. Okay, that's why this prayer is about both body and mind. Okay, and then after it invoke all these great powers to give us all the balance of all these things, it straight went to Namo Brahmane. It's telling you straight to Bhagwan ke paas, मतलब ये क्या बोलते हैं इसको, Brahman is that pure, क्या बोलना चाहिए, pure form of God. Because Namo Brahmane बोला ना, सीधा उधर पहुंचा दिया, highest level पे. Okay, salutations to that Brahman, because these students are not ordinary. They already know, they have studied what Brahman is. Okay, the infinite, the supreme truth substratum, सीधा उनको प्रणाम किया. And then it said something very interesting. पहले तो बोला नमो ब्रह्मणे, फिर बोला नमस्ते वायो. तो वायु पे कैसे पहुंच गए, उसमें भी सिंबोलिज्म है. Because we cannot grasp the Brahman directly. कोई बोलेगा कि infinite, परम सत्य, ये वो क्या है, I don't know. लेकिन उसका manifestation I can see. Manifestation, the Vayu is the manifestation of that Brahman. We learned that, right? पहले आकाश आया. आकाश को भी थोड़ा ग्रास्प करना थोड़ा मुश्किल है. वायु को थोड़ा इजी है. So वायु का another quality of वायु is all pervading.
When you say आकाश को करना मुश्किल है, how?
Because if I say, can you see आकाश, उसका कोई फॉर्म नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, how can I?
दिखता है आकाश.
वो लाइट जो आपको दिखती है वो प्योर आकाश नहीं है, वो तो खाली इल्यूजन है. The blue color is not real. The real आकाश doesn't have any color.
Okay.
If you go to certain height, that blue color disappears.
Is it? I know in the Himalayas they were deeper हो गया था blue.
I mean when you go in a rocket or something.
Oh yeah. They see all darkness, right? Yeah. So and then no, there is one more huge significance with the Vayu. Vayu is like a connecting thing for all the living beings. Think about it. The trees need Vayu, they need oxygen, and they give out animals and
birds.
humans.
Yeah.
Vayu is the thread that connects all the living beings together.
Yeah, and we need Vayu.
Of course. Absolutely.
Did you
But-
know even the fish need Vayu?
Yes, probably, yeah. Because that's how they come.
When you have an aquarium, you have to have a air pump.
Okay, see?
So
So-
they take the oxygen from the water, so the water has to be oxygenated.
You have to put an air pump to keep pumping air.
Into the water.
So see कितना scientific है. So we say okay, Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayu, because I am connecting to that Brahman through the Vayu, because Vayu is a manifestation of that Brahman. That's why they said it. So amazing if you think. And this is that string that holds the garland together. This is it. Vayu is you can call it the string that holds all the living beings together. So and then because Supreme Brahman is unmanifest, all-pervading, beyond the senses, yeah, I already did that part. Okay, Vayu is available for us. And then it says, Tvameva pratyaksham brahmasi. Vayu को बोल रहे हैं कि तुमको मैं ब्रह्म की तरह देख रहा हूँ. No? Because now I know that it comes from there, and when I'm looking at the Vayu, मैं तुम्ही को देख रहा हूँ. जैसे like when we do sun upasana. So then Krishna Bhagwan ने बोल दिया कि जो sun का तेज है, we saw in this chapter 7, that the tej of the sun is my tej. So that's why when I look at the sun, I'm saying, I am seeing a pratyaksha Brahma ka tej because I'm seeing the sun. Okay? So you're lifting yourself up. And then it says, Tvameva pratyaksha Brahma vadishyami, that all is connected, that you are that pratyaksha Brahma. I'm declaring that the Vayu is. Then it says Rutam vadishyami. Rutam is a very loaded word. Rutam means in Vedanta, when you get the correct meaning of the Shastras. And you're reading Bhagavad Gita, you're reading this, you're getting the correct meaning, that's called Rutam. So, because somebody can read and like Swamiji said, खाली ऊपर से word meaning लिया तो वो dangerous हो जाएगा. So I'm praying कि मैं जो भी declare करूँ वो रुतम हो, सही हो, correct import हो. And then that same rutam, when it is translated into my action, then it becomes dharma. So if I want the dharma, I have to be rutam. Rutam is a precursor of that. Okay, so ritam turns into dharma because my daily practice, when it comes out, becomes satyam or dharma. And then Swamiji was explaining that the vidyarthi ka meaning bata rahe the wo. Vidya ka arthi means the one who desires. When you say arthi means I desire something. Vidyarthi means the one who desires vidya. So usko vidya bola hai. And then student is praying. He's praying for himself and for the teacher also. Okay? Both of them he's praying. So when he says Tanmam Avatu means bless, may I be blessed. And then Tad Vaktaram Avatu. Vaktaram is Hari Om. Vaktaram is teacher, the one who is saying the knowledge. So he's saying that may I be blessed, may my teacher be blessed. Okay? That's what he's telling you. Then no obstacle should come. And this is, मतलब वो इतना उसमें passion है कि वो 2 बार repeat करता है उसको. So is it Tanmam avatu, Tad Vaktaram avatu mam, avtu Vaktaram. You know, look at how.
Teacher के लिए blessings are so important.
Yeah, means सारे जो forces है वो teacher को भी bless करे, मुझे भी, और 2 बार बोला उसने, उसको शांति नहीं मिली एक बार बोल के. When something is very important, you repeat it second time. Okay, and then last time this Shanti, Shanti, Shanti is repeated in all the mantras, and we have discussed it, but I'll repeat it. Why they say it 3 times? Because 3 kind of troubles can come to us. One is unseen trouble, one is trouble that I know of, and one is from my own mind. So unseen trouble is, the rain ho gayi subah.
Yeah.
Like I was wondering how many people are going to show up.
I was looking at the thing whether the class is cancelled or not.
That's unseen problem. So you know what I said? I'm just going to go, whoever comes fine, and look at it. So this is forces became quiet. Jao, tum apna study karo. So that becomes one unseen, Devik bolte hain. Adi Devik, koi earthquake na aaye, kuch ye nahi ho, tufan na aaye. Adi Bhautik is my surrounding. Some halla gulla, some neighbors dog barking, I can't study, or some wife doing khatpat in the kitchen or something, So वो सब ना हो. So that is Adi Bhautik. उसमें से शांति हो सब जगह. And आध्यात्मिक सब कुछ शांत हो, मेरा मन शांत नहीं हो. अंदर से कोई विचार आने लगे, कुछ होने लगा होता है, उसको भी शांत रखो अभी. I'm studying right now. That's why we do the 3 Shantis. So this is what this prayer is. Such a beautiful prayer.
Yeah.
Once you know the meaning, now every time you will hear this, you say, oh no, I know it's Taittriya Upanishad. We must have heard this.
I have.
Yes, now you know what it is.
So Nalini, you understand Hindi fluently?
I understand Hindi. Fluently is a very.
But this is tough Hindi.
No, I understand everything she's saying.
Very good.
Does it? Am I able to say it again? No, but.
Oh, you will be able to.
I know exactly what she's trying to say.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
Okay, so we have time. We can read. We'll see. It's a long commentary, so we'll see how far we go. So, who would like to start? Everybody can read one paragraph. How about that? मेरी गलती. हाँ मैं because मैं 2-3 बुक घर छोड़ दी थी because I thought पता नहीं कौन आएगा.
ये उमा की है, आप ये यूज करो.
Yeah, you have already paid me anyway. I'll give it for Uma ji.
Oh, I wrote Uma's name on this.
No, I'll give it back to you.
Yeah.
अभी हमने उनको पढ़ने को दी है.
Okay, समझ गई. Okay. So you want to read? So here I'll.
पेज बताएं.
ये सब घर में पढ़ना, introduction ये वो. We are at the piece in. What is the page in yours? 12.
Page 12.
Okay. हाँ. So यहाँ से पढ़ना.
May Mitra be.
Everybody ready?
Yes.
May Mitra be propitious to us. May Varuna bless us. May the blessings of Aryama be with us. May the grace of Indra and Brihaspati be upon us. May Vishnu, the all-pervading, wide-striding, be propitious to us. Salutations to Brahma. Salutations to thee, O Vayu. Thou art the visible Brahma. Thee alone shall I consider as the visible Brahma. I shall declare thou art the right, thou art the good. May that protect me, may that protect the speaker. Please protect me, please protect the speaker. Om, peace, peace.
So everybody understood that, huh? And the word is Brahman. So we should be all able to pronounce that word Brahman, because not Brahmaji wala Brahma. Huh?
Oh.
This is Brahman means the highest form of God, which is beyond para and apara prakriti that we learned. So now you understood that what they are saying by propitious. I don't know how do you say this, Meeraji? This word propitious. So that means favorable condition. I looked at the dictionary meaning and auspicious. But here, basically, we are saying that may they give us all the powers so that we do our studies properly. That मेरा कल्याण करें वगैरह वगैरह. हिंदी में कई words ऐसे, Okay, who wants to read next?
Let's go around the circle.
Yeah. If somebody absolutely doesn't want to read, it's okay. Huh? There's no compulsion, but.
Om, peace, peace, peace. This peace chanting is sung by the teacher. and taught together. It is a prayer raised in devotion to recognize the gods of Vedic period, who were representations of one divine cosmic power. The ideals of divines such as Rama, Krishna, and others are all later development, being the product of Puranika age. In the early Hinduism, the devotees prayed at the feet of one cosmic power, recognized through its various representations as Mitra, Varuna,
Aryama,
and so on. They are all, as the Vedas declare, different names and expression of the same one power that functions behind the entire phenomena of nature and presides over their destinies.
So now you saw that all these other Rama, Krishna and all that, they came later, as through the Mahabharata, Ramayana and all that, वो बाद में आया वो सब, हाँ? And all the other Puranic age में उन्होंने सब वो stories डाली, शिव पार्वती की और वगैरह वगैरह. यहाँ पर ये सब कुछ mention नहीं है, because they have taken that Brahman and through the forces of nature उसका manifestation, and then when we see all these other tribal people do the same thing.
Yeah.
They don't have these deities and all that, but they have sea god, right? And they have god of fire and god of this and all, because these are the Bhagwan's power only.
Yeah, so
American Indians do the rain dance.
Right,
Yes.
exactly. All those.
So that means during the Vedic time we were just worshipping nature. That's
Yes,
what it was.
yeah. But they very well knew that the power of nature is coming from the Brahman. That's what basically this.
Indra was Bijli.
Rain.
Rain and all.
And Vayu was तो वो सब natural.
Yeah, Vayu Devta बोलते हैं ना, Vayu Devta, Varun Devta and all. पर यहाँ पर वरुण का slightly different meaning बताया, because upon and night time, outgoing breath and night. So there's some technical.
All forces of
Yeah.
nature.
What is Mitra? Mitra represents what?
Mitra was the deity of daytime and pranas in us. Ingoing breath is Mitra. Yeah. So you came late, right? So we kind of did that, and yeah. When you read it at home, you'll get it. Yeah.
These deities invoked here are all delegates representing in themselves one power or the other, given to them by the all-powerful. Thus, Mitra is the guardian spirit of the Parama. And
Here is the answer, huh?
Since all energy activity are expressed in full swing at the daytime, Varuna governs the outgoing breath, Arpana, and the night. Here it may be noted that whenever we call from ourselves any great exertion, such as lifting a weight, pushing a thing, or expressing our thoughts, in all such movements of activities, we have to breathe in hard, and the activity ceases and exhausts at the expense of outgoing breath. And with the completion of the arpana, the energy are all exhausted.
So this is pran and apan, sorry. That's what they're talking about. That both the things are very important. And it's how scientific it is. हमको कोई बहुत गहरी बात बोलनी होती है ना, तो हम लोग लंबी सांस लेंगे, छोड़ेंगे, फिर हम बोलते हैं. And then, and anytime you go to a physical therapy, they will teach you how to breathe and breathe out and do this exercise and all that. So both are very important. And so एक को एक चीज का इंचार्ज बना दिया, दूसरे को दूसरे का डिवाइड कर दिया, so they can do a good job.
So अनिल जी, मेरे पेज जोड़े हुए हैं, आप पढ़ते हैं.
Sure. Aryama is the presiding deity of the sun and the eyes, the cosmic power identified with the source of all energy and light. The sun is called at that moment of identification with reference to its particular conditioning as Aryama. If the sun were not there, sun meaning the light principle, the objects and the things of the world will not be illuminated by the eyes, since the sense organ eyes can function only in the medium of light. Even the most powerful telescope or microscope cannot illumine an object in a dark room. In the medium of light alone, can the eyes function, and therefore to consider the sun, the source of all light, as the presiding deity of the human eye is quite reasonable and scientific.
So we have discussed this even other parts, okay, how whatever they said that, the presiding deity for the eyes is the sun, and for the taste is the water and all that, वहाँ पर वरुण बोला है उसको, तो different meanings हो सकते हैं and things like that. It's very scientific. They have not just made up anything like that, Or touch is the air, Vayu Devta and all that. All that is very scientific. Gave an example.
To those who have been initiated into the secret of this conception, Indra is the governor of all might and the physical strength in the individual. Though it cannot be located, we can at least say that its expression is generally through the instrument of the hand.
So like I said, that a human power, it is expressed through the hand, Bahubali.
Yeah.
So they are talking that Indra is in charge of that.
Should I read the next?
Yeah, you can read one, that's fine.
Brihaspati is again an expression of the divine, which controls intelligence and knowledge, speech and intellect. Vishnu, in his all-pervading nature, governs all movements and thus becomes the deity of the feet.
Thus, in invoking the blessings of Mitra, Varun, Aryam, Indra, Brihaspati and Vishnu, the Vedic teachers and students were invoking healthy pran, apana, efficient eyesight, willing hands, wise speech and healthy limbs, so that day and night, with energy and strength, they may accomplish wise intellectual movement and fulfill the study in revolutionizing the gross in them to become divine.
So it's telling you the purpose why it's doing it, not to do some other worldly things, but this prayer was meant for these higher studies when they were doing it. Okay, we can do one more paragraph and then we can stop.
The word sun means well-being, and therefore the entire invocation is a prayer to these forces for their grace, so that in their blessings all the above-mentioned instruments in us may be assured of their well-being. For a perfect and profitable listening, Shravan, to the philosophical discourses, and for the diligent pursuits in acquiring, maintaining, and living the new values pointed out in the Shastra, it is amply self-evident that we want all these instruments and powers in full vigor and effort.
So Swamiji just said one word, but the sham word that comes again and again in there, well-being बोल दिया उसको, कि भाई well-being, हर एक चीज में well-being हो, and for what purpose, again he repeated that, philosophical discourses and for diligent pursuit of acquiring, maintaining and living the new values. So हमने जो सीखा है वो हम उसको जाके practice करें. That's why we did it. So we'll stop here. Make a note that today is
First.
Oh yeah, March 1st. Can I forget that?
I'll tell you about the I had to leave because I have an appointment.
Okay, no problem.
See you the time. Good
I'll
to
just
see
do
you.
the last prayer and
Yeah,
then
after last
yeah.
prayer, yeah.
Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhaveet Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.